A lot of what I had can stem, or has stemmed, as I've been told, from a birth defect. It was called tetralogy Fallot, which is a heart defect. Back in the 1960s, not many children survived this anomaly, if you will, because the pioneering of the heart surgery was, well, it was pioneering. It was just starting to come about. As a result, it also branched off into some other difficulties that didn't manifest themselves until later on in life. One of which is what we now know is called Chiari malformation, and that is a compression of the back of the brain. There's a small space in the brain that would normally move when you move. When you laugh or pick something up that's heavy, you'll have room for the brain to expand. In my case, that area was all tight, and when I did anything, I ended up having what we would call ice cream headaches constantly. So if I bent down, it was a headache. If I laughed, if I picked, it was always a headache. So that was the genesis of needing to start having something to, somebody to look at it. I had a total of 6 surgeries on the back of my head. The back of my head and the brain portion was tethered to my spinal cord, which was causing me, every time I moved my head, was causing this problem of, walking upstairs, I would pass out. Moving around too fast, getting up too fast. All these things would cause me just to fall flat. It was messing with my nerves for my feeling and my touch and my sensations, and I just got to where I couldn't feel anything after a while. Couldn't hold a pencil, still can't do it real well, but writing and all of that are things that I took a lot of pride in. Couldn't do it anymore because of the ongoing stacking, if you will, of these problems that one after the other, after the other, after the other, they're all interlocked. They're all things that had to be untangled. As a result of all the ongoing problems, I had congestive heart failure, so I had to get that taken care of, all again within the last 5 years. During which time, they also, one of the other hospitals said that I apparently had a stroke, and hence I have lost the feeling in my hands, my feet. Some doctors are saying no, it's because of this Chiari malformation. Others are saying it's because of the stroke. It's regardless, it's there. Every time you go in, it's about headache. It's a headache, a huge headache. Not to mention the toll it had on my family, my kids, not being able to be around my kids. I remember when I came home from after I had that one surgery and the stroke, I finally got home. I sat in that chair right there, and all 4 of my kids came over, and all they could do was 4 weeks. I was gone 4 weeks. And they wanted to come in and sit down. They wanted to touch me and be around me, and they just didn't want me to go anywhere. For 25 years, I worked at a car dealership, or actually 2 car dealerships. I was in sales and finance. I worked backup finance manager. And I really liked it because we got to be ourselves. But it got to the point where I couldn't walk on the lot. I even had a colleague ask me if I'd been drinking, which I don't drink, but with the staggering, I understood now that other people that aren't saying anything, who knows what they thought when they left. I was at the point where I could not control my balance. My head was hurting so bad, I would literally pass out. I would just absolutely hit the deck. And those were things that I had to, one, for the safety of me and everybody around me, but also on the image it casts on where I was working. If nobody asked a question, they would have thought I was doing something I shouldn't be doing. They're going to leave thinking that, and they'll never come back. But I also must tell you that that was Marchant Chevrolet, and they, without a doubt, gave me every chance in the world and stood by me for every little thing I needed, always making sure I had and my family had what we needed. They always made allowances for me because that's who they were.
Patrick was originally referred to Voc Rehab from an occupational therapist, speech therapist that was working with him at East Cooper Hospital. And after he had had surgery for his Chiari malformation, he had decreased sensation in his arms, and he had what we call an ataxic gait, where his gait was kind of off and it was like a wide stance, and he was walking with a walker. And the intent and idea at the time was, to get him involved with the Eval Center. But once he started having some additional cardiac problems, was going to have to go back to Mayo's and have surgery, he took himself out of the program just because he felt like he couldn't participate at the time. Approximately a year later, he came back and said, "Hey, I'm ready to participate in services now."
I made application over on in the North Charleston branch, talked with Karen Miller. She took up my case, and from there, as they say, it's been smooth sailing. Karen and I talked about a lot of things, specifically what were my goals, where did I want to be. I mean, obviously we talked about what was going on with my life and with my physical well-being or not well-being, but she had the whole picture in mind.
He still had some decreased sensation in his upper extremities, the gait issues, and we felt like he could really benefit from going to the Comprehensive Evaluation Center. And while he was there, he got exposed to things like rehab tech and the ITTC programs, and he kind of embraced all that like he does life in general. Just embraced it, whatever I can learn, whatever I can maybe get out of this.
She always had time for a phone call. If for whatever reason I wasn't able to reach her, because there are other people out there that need her as well, but she would always call back. And Karen never kept, standard hours, 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever. Those are the kind of things, the little things that I didn't know I needed. The little pushes, the little helps, the little, well, if you try this, you can do that. But if you do that, we might not want to do this. Or, not guiding me and saying yes or no, but saying, look at this opportunity, look at that opportunity.
The first thing I learned about Patrick was that he loves his family so much. And when he came in here, I realized that the reason he was here, the reason he wanted to start back to work, was to do something very special for them. While Patrick was at the Evaluation Center, he worked very hard in the Work Keys class. He always came early to class, was willing to stay a little bit later, took stuff home with him back to his room. Even on the weekends, he would work on it, and earned a silver certificate.
Once he came back from the Eval Center, he wanted to participate in the ITTC training programs, but there was going to be a gap between when the program was available. I suggested the Work Training Center in Charleston. He was gung-ho for that. And
what that did was it gave me a chance to be around other people, because again, I had the balance problem, and I will have tables to hold on to as I'm walking, but there was nobody judging. It gave me a lot of confidence to be where I needed to be in public without fear of falling down. If I fell, so what? Get up.
The training center staff loved him, and I think they used the term that he went at it with gusto. They could always count on him to get things done. And he told me at various times that he thought the things that we offered were a gift, that he was blessed to be a part of Voc Rehab. And the eye-hand coordination for the kinds of jobs we had him doing in the training center were better than any therapy that he'd had with just therapists.
Karen was right there with me every step of the way. Karen's like that little angel on your shoulder that she's there. She's always going to be there. And no matter what, call her if you have a problem, but if you don't, call her anyway and just talk with her and see how things are going.
January of the following year, then the class came up that he could participate in.
He went through our ISN program, which is designed for entry-level PC repair technicians and help desk technicians.
Our clients here are also students, and it's a challenge for them because many of them haven't been in a classroom setting in 20 or more years, and suddenly they have to come back into a situation where they have homework every night, they have to prepare for class, they have tests and quizzes and so forth. And Patrick was always ready.
When I was in Mr. Umbarger's class, or Mr. Bob as we called him affectionately, I learned some things that are life lessons, not to mention computer type lessons. And one of the life lessons that I learned is don't try to fix everything at once. And he's talking about a PC, but he's also talking about, as the way I took it, as your life. Don't try to make all your changes at one time. Do one thing. If it works, Go with it and see how far you go, or try to build on that. But if it doesn't, then try the next thing.
His desire, that's what stands out about Patrick on here. He really wanted to go to work.
If we set our bar here, he set the bar here.
Everything that he could take advantage of up there that was offered to him, he did.
He needed some basic accommodations, which involved experimenting with different seat cushions. We provided a footrest. We experimented with writing aids because he was having some issues with fine motor skills, in addition to a computer touchpad.
He would come in after his ITTC classes were over. He always had a positive attitude. He just a ray of sunshine. Love, love, love Patrick. What we did with Patrick was mostly did a lot of strengthening. We worked on endurance. Oftentimes we worked on balance, a lot of flexibility. He was always doing the arm bike, and we would ride the actual recumbents together.
This lady is phenomenal. She does take the time to make sure that, one, you're getting what you need, but two, making you feel at home. I felt like I could go with, again, another friend, somebody I can talk with up there about whatever.
He always talked about his family. He ministers. He talked about going abroad. He really had a lot to share.
Nearing the end of his training, he had seen a posting for a position at the Department of Motor Vehicles here in our local area.
It was a week before Thanksgiving 2012 is when I went down. And I pulled in the parking lot, and I still had all my stuff from ITTC in the car, clothes and stuff that you accumulate after 11 months.
The Skilled Workforce Apprentice Training Program allows an individual to learn on the job. The company assigns a mentor to the individual as they go throughout the training. Patrick was interviewed for a position under the SWAT program.
He started with us as our camera temp.
I think that is probably the most horrible picture you can take, and somehow he tried to make it pleasant for people, and he was definitely able to do it.
He was really excited though about it, and I think that was a very challenging job for him because of his limitations with his hands.
But I just showed them what I could do, and we went from there.
Patrick and I touch base on a regular basis, make sure things were going well. We talked about rehab tech, getting them involved, and it kind of went from there.
He needed a touchpad for the computer, but we also assisted him with an anti-fatigue mat because at the DMV there were significant times where he would have to stand, and we wanted to make sure he did not fatigue.
While I was there, another position came open in that very office. I found out by overhearing two colleagues talking. I said, well, I want to do that. And they said, well, you need to apply. Today's the last day. I said, what? Everything I learned in Voc Rehab at the training center, at Voc Rehab in Columbia, and the ITTC, all these things came together because every single one of those things had a common thread, and it was put you back to work. And I had the confidence to go in and have that interview. I don't know how many people I beat out. I mean, I don't want to say I beat out anybody. I'm just going to say that I rose to the top, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm just saying that I was the one that they chose. And that was me. Where 11 months earlier, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do for my family? Where are we going to be? And yet every step of the way, I was encouraged not to look away from applying to anything that somebody's going to do for me. Try to aggressively go after it. And I did.
I wanted to hire Patrick because I knew that Patrick is a person that's eager to learn, and he loves helping people. He's the first person that people see.
I greet the people that come in, fast, efficient, with a smile, but it has to be genuine. You have to look the customer in the eye. You have to let them know that you care what you're doing and that you care about your job and that you're concerned about their well-being in terms of helping them get what they need.
He has a very strong work ethic. He's very mindful of being here. He's dependable, a person that I can count on.
I also do what is known as a triage. I get the paperwork, I look it over, determine where they need to be in terms of the counters, and give them the appropriate numbers and let them go with the paperwork.
Patrick, I'm here today and I want to present to you this coin. And our director had these coins made up, and he presents them to employees that he thinks exemplifies the standards of employees here at DMV. We ask that all of our employees be competent, courteous, and committed, and we feel you exemplify those standards. So we do it by exchange of a handshake.
Okay.
Thank you for the job
Thank you
you
so
do.
much. I appreciate it too. Very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What Karen did for me put me where I am right now.
Sometimes as a counselor, you wonder if you're making a difference, and he's one of those people that, as you think about it later, maybe after the fact, that you're really glad that that you've had that experience of working with that person, and that you may have impacted their life greatly, but they also impacted your life.
He represents everything that we try to do as an agency.
What Patrick took away from the IT Training Center was the skills that he needed to go to work and the belief in himself that he was able to do the work. And what we took away from him, I think, was a far greater benefit. And that was that no matter what you're facing in life, you can rise above it and still give your best.
And then sometimes just somebody saying thank you and changing their life. That's all that we really need to have to keep us going.
From the IT training to the internship at the DMV to everything, the work keys, assessment, I thought it was awesome.
I was hopeless, absolutely hopeless with what I was facing. If it weren't for Voc Rehab, and if it weren't for people like Karen Miller and Jane Moore and Mr. Bob Umbarger and everybody else, and I can't even name everybody who touched me. Whether they know it or not, they touched my life, and they touched my family's life. Without that dedication and inspiration, I wouldn't be where I am today.